Hello everyone, it is Bitcoin news, and today we are just going to jump in with what we have for Bitcoin news itself. So we have our first post from GripTuba on the r/Bitcoin subreddit with 5.9 million members. His post goes like this: I'm really happy for the 0.1 Bitcoin gang that is able to stack and be part of something like Bitcoin. Your effort is not for nothing, your contribution is valid. I remember a short while ago stacking my first 0.1 Bitcoin. What else would you be able to do with $3,700 if not put it towards something that will very likely help toward fixing the economic situation of the entire world and tremendously help your future? There's absolutely no reason to be discouraged if you're not a whole coiner yet. If you're reading this, there is still plenty of time for you, not so much for those who are dead set on letting what we are doing pass by them. But that's their problem. The first post or comment to this post is, I'm part of the small pp.0.1 Bitcoin club. One day it'll grow into the big PP club. I'm sorry for the lack of my maturity. It's funny though. I have to admit that. Whether you guys want to admit it or not, I think this is a hilarious joke. Yeah, I mean, everyone gets into Bitcoin, or most people get into Bitcoin because they just want to make money, and that's not a bad reason to get into Bitcoin. I mean, we all want to make money. That's why we work. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool that we should respect those who are even putting in a little amount of Bitcoin into the currency itself and investing in it. So yeah, this is some awesome stuff that we're seeing from the Bitcoin community, and I hope to see more stuff like this because I feel like a lot of people are discouraged to invest in Bitcoin, especially since Bitcoin actually used to be worth 1 penny apparently. That's why it's called Bitcoin. So it's awesome to see that people who have been holding on for a long time are encouraging those who haven't even invested in it yet, or those who only hold a relatively small amount of it. So awesome stuff. Let's jump into the next article now. From CoinDesk, CPI report Tuesday could provide next Bitcoin catalyst. Economics expect monthly headline CPI in October to have slowed to 0.1% from 0.4% in September. Year-over-year CPI is anticipated to have fallen to 3.3% from 3.7%. The core CPI, which strips out food and energy costs, is expected to have remained flat from September, 0.3% monthly and 4.1% year-over-year. Both gauges remain well above the U.S. Federal Reserve's 2% target, while the central bank has indicated that inflation doesn't need to fall all the way to 2% as a requisite for ending rate hikes and considering rate cuts. Speakers have made clear they want to see continued progress toward that target. That is very fascinating stuff. The opposite, of course, also holds, and should tomorrow's inflation report come in faster than anticipated, crypto prices are likely to give back more of their October advance. That is very interesting in how this is going to actually affect the price of Bitcoin. And honestly, we are just going to have to see how this impacts the price of Bitcoin. Personally, I think this will positively impact Bitcoin, but again, we are going to have to see. Next article from CNBC.com. Spot Bitcoin ETF approval by the SEC is approaching, experts say. What that means for investors. Alright, so Bitcoin investors are eagerly waiting for regulators to approve the first US spot Bitcoin exchange traded fund, which could be significant for cryptocurrency investors. Last week, the price of Bitcoin notched an 18-month high, climbing to $37,000 after BlackRock took first steps toward an Ether ETF. The price of Bitcoin has more than doubled since the start of 2023, but it's still well below its November 2021 peak. For ETF investors, this would be the best product on the market, said Brian Armour, director of the Passive Strategies Research for North America at Morningstar. All the other opinions right now have flaws to varying degrees. Currently, U.S. investors can buy Bitcoin futures ETFs, which own Bitcoin future contracts or agreements to buy or sell the asset later for an agreed upon price. The long-awaited Bitcoin spot ETF will invest in the digital asset directly. So right here we can see a chart for the price of Bitcoin. We can see it's sort of rising up, sort of towards the news of a possible Bitcoin ETF, which is pretty interesting, isn't it? Still, experts often suggest limiting cryptocurrency exposure, such as 1% to 5% of your allocation, to minimize downside exposure. It still remains an extremely volatile and speculative asset. That's true. Cryptocurrencies are still a very volatile asset. And you should be really careful what you do with your money when you invest in cryptocurrencies. I always recommend putting in money that you're willing to lose. Finally, let's move on to our next article on MarketWatch.com. Bitcoin could reach $150,000 in 2025 during new bull cycle, says Alliance Bernstein. All right. Bitcoin could reach a cycle of as much as $150,000 in 2025, driven by the so-called halving event and institutional inflow brought by Bitcoin exchange and traded funds, which are expected to be approved soon, according to analysts at Alliance Bernstein. The recent ETF optimism has sent the largest crypto, BTC USD, above $37,000 on Friday. It rose over 120% so far this year, but it's still down more than 45% from its peak in November 2021. That is nuts. Well, again, this is another situation where we have to see how this will play out. Now, with the ETFs, I do think that is going to make the Bitcoin prices skyrocket. But with the halving event, I'm not too sure. We are going to have to see about that. Because with the ETF, we've already seen how people have reacted to the false news that the ETF was approved. And we saw that the price skyrocketed up and then went back down because it was exposed that that is actually not the case, and Bitcoin did not, in fact, skyrocket. So we are going to have to wait. We are going to have to see what the price of Bitcoin will be due to the halving event, because I am already confident myself that the price of Bitcoin will increase due to an ETF approval, but due to the halving event, not too sure. Anyways, that is it for today's video. Thanks for watching. Remember, this is not financial advice. This is just my opinion and me sharing the news and analyzing the data. You guys have a great day. Good luck trading.